welcome to Talk of the Game. It's match preview of Scotland against England. Gonzo, are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, absolutely. When is it?
It's tomorrow night, Tuesday night.
Absolutely, can't write. So you beat the dog and duck or something the other day, didn't you, Scotland?
We're beating everyone at the minute, not just the dog and duck. We're beating everyone at the minute. Thank you very much.
Did you beat like a small island or something? Yeah, you beat a country even smaller than Scotland the other day, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes, we beat Cyprus 3-0 on Friday. That's correct.
That was excellent. Well done. So it's like Scotland's like got a proper country and it's got its own football team and everything. Is what you're saying?
Hey, we're doing good now. Leave it out. Do you know something, right? I don't think we're getting enough credit. I don't think Scotland are getting enough praise at the minute. That's 5 wins from 5, and yes, it was only Cyprus, but we also beat Spain. We've also beat Norway. But
who's your best player? Who's your best player?
Well, it depends who you ask. I guess
I'm asking you.
FIFA ratings, if you like, would be Andy Robertson, but in my opinion, it's probably John McGinn.
John McGinn.
You finished taking the mick yet?
I'm not taking the mick. I'm just asking who your best player is. Andy Robertson, a good player, left full back for Liverpool. He can cross a hell of a ball. He can. Yeah, good. McGinn, he's plays for Aston. Does he still play for Aston Villa? He's in the team still for Aston Villa.
Yeah. Come on, get it all out. I don't mind. No,
I am genuinely asking. It sounds great. It sounds great. Who's your striker?
Lyndon Dykes or Che Adams.
Who? Who's the first one?
Yeah. Good one. I wondered where you were going with this one. Now I see where you're going with this
one. Che Adams.
Yes.
The Englishman.
Yes.
He plays for Scotland.
Yes.
How did that work out?
Are you finished yet?
I don't know. Have we done? I don't know if we've done England and Scotland before. I really like it. I think this is the good stuff. Carry on.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. A friendly, but is it a friendly? Can Scotland and England really be a friendly?
No.
Anyway, the 150th anniversary since the nations first started playing against each other. The oldest match, the first international game to take place back in 1872 as well. And should England win this game, they'll be the first European nation to win 600 matches. So there's a little bit of something on the line.
Is that? Oh, there you go. Good statistics. To be fair, England should play Scotland every year. So this used to be a feature, that the home nations internationals, and they were always really good. My old man always used to say, particularly international football, not just England. International football went through a really big time of just playing friendlies, too many friendlies. And they've addressed it to a certain extent with the whatever it is, the Nations League tournament, whatever it's called, in more recent years. But the one time you would get competitive matches were the home nations. So actually, you'd learn far more in a home nations match, in a friendly match against Scotland, than you would by playing Spain in a friendly, for instance. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're always really, really good. And you Jockos came down to Wembley once and smashed the place up and nicked the goalposts and the nets and stuff like that.
It's lost its edge a bit. I think it's even tomorrow night. I think before sort of, let's call it Steve Clarke era. Before that, this game would have been massive for me personally. I've been rubbing my hands, really looking forward to it, because arguably it would have been as good as it got for Scotland, possibly putting one over on England. But at the minute, it's still an important game. It's a big game, but I don't think it's an important game, if that makes sense. If we lose, I'm not sure I'll be that fussed tomorrow night. If we win, I'll be really happy. But if we lose, I don't think I'll be that bothered, because we do have bigger things going on at the minute. That we are, statistically, according to the supercomputer, we're 99% likely to qualify for the Euros. We can qualify for the Euros tomorrow night if Norway draw with Georgia, and that game's happening at the same time as Scotland-England. That game finishes a draw, Scotland will qualify for the Euros. So there could be a massive party at Hampden tomorrow night. If we beat England and there's a draw in Norway, we're at the Euro. We've just been in England and we're off to the Euros. So it's quite a big thing. I mean, bear in mind, we were last at a major tournament. I know we qualified for Euro 2020, but there was the World Cup in 98. I was just a little boy. I don't remember it at all. Got to Euro 2020. Obviously didn't get out of the group. And now we're going to qualify for this one. It's big improvement, big success for Scotland, actually. So I'm quite excited for this match. And I think a big part of the reason I'm excited is because the bigger picture looks good for Scotland. So it won't just be, we had fun for 90 minutes. It's actually, we can continue looking forward to the upcoming fixtures. And yeah, it's a good time to be Scottish, I think.
So yeah, I mean, so you've got Georgia. Sorry, you've got Georgia and Norway have got the same points. Just looking at it in your group, and you've won. All I'm seeing is a sea of green. So your last 5 matches, which is all the matches you've played, you've won every single match. Now Spain have only played 3. You played 5, but they have lost 1. So
to us, we beat them.
Superb, absolutely superb. So I mean, so Steve Clarke, obviously formerly of West Ham, he's done really well because just some of the players you described, they're not the best players in the world, are they?
No,
so for him to get them all together, and it's a team, right?
This is what I love about this team is we're not a one-man team. We're not that. You can take anyone out and put anyone in, and we're a squad as well. So anyone that comes off the bench, it's just 25 players fighting for the shirt and for each other, and I absolutely love it. I love watching Scotland at the minute. I mean, I used to in the past. I've sometimes watched West Ham in a relegation zone. International break comes round, and I watch Scotland get battered. Then I go back to watching West Ham. It's not particularly fun, but at the minute, West Ham have been doing really well. International break comes round. I actually really look forward to it because Scotland's also doing really well at the minute. So I'm just watching Scotland and West Ham since I was born hasn't been fun, but at the minute I'm absolutely loving it.
Sure.
You know, let me read out the record. Post Euro 2020, so essentially the last 2 years, we've played 19, we've won 15, drawn 1 and lost 3. 79% of games we've won since Euro 2020. And also we qualified for Euro 2020 as well. But since the Euros, we have won 15 of our 19 games. We are superb at the minute. Just it's brilliant. I'm absolutely loving it.
And you got that Hickey that you said I remember you wanted him at West Ham for a while.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I mean, that's just it. I mean, we've got good players. We've right backs. We've got Nathan Patterson of Everton or Aaron Hickey. We play wing backs. We play. At first, it was to squeeze Tierney and Robertson into the same team. We've got 2 top left backs here. What do we do? So we've played 3 at the back. So Tierney is our left centre back and Robertson's the left wing back. And at first, it caused issues. And Robertson wasn't very happy with it because after a game, I think we played Israel and we didn't win. It was a big game. And he said, well, we've got 2 of the world's best left backs, but neither of us are playing left back. And I was like, oh, that was a bit true, a bit rough. But Clark's kept it. He's kept it. It works now. Tierney's superb at that role. Robertson's got better at wing back. He's still better for Liverpool than Scotland. I still don't see the Liverpool Andy Robertson. Still never seen that. No, I've never seen it. But we've now got that in midfield. We've got Carl McGregor playing next to Billy Gilmore of Brighton, who's been fantastic. Now we've got McGinn and McTominay, who are superb. McTominay scored again. So yeah,
he's an Englishman again, another Englishman.
We've got obviously they've got the English Angus Gunn and goal, who didn't want to play for Scotland initially, but
and that would be Brian Gunn's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
So eventually he said, you know what, I'm not going to get in for England. I'll come to Scotland. So it's sometimes you've got to swallow a bit of pride because obviously we're trying to lure Harvey Barnes at the minute. The rumours are we're trying to get Harvey Barnes to switch over.
Well, Declan Rice, he's not adverse to switching. Can't get him at some point. He likes to switch a room. Declan.
We didn't get in the team ahead of Billy Gilmore. We're all right, thank you.
Or Conor McGregor. That's absolutely the right attitude.
Before we discuss England, is there any Scottish players you admire? No.
No, actually, no. Kenny Dalglish, what a player. The vision. Played for his back to goal. He was brilliant. And what's the one with the long hair? Billy Connolly?
I was waiting for you to say William Wallace. I thought
that'll be the speech. That'll be the speech before it. No. I do think I do think that Tierney and Robertson are good players. Is Gilmore the one that was at Chelsea?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was. I don't know what happened to him. He was certainly very, very talented youngster. McGinn's a pain in the arse whether we play against them. So yeah, I mean, clearly, but fair play. Your superstars, clearly, your manager there who's managed to get the team playing in a way that other people like Strachan and whoever else there might have been weren't able to do. So yeah, good for him. I'm pleased for him. Particularly with his West Ham connection as well.
Right, moving on to your team, your country. What are you thinking at present?
I just think that Gareth Southgate does not create an environment for flair players to thrive. And I've been watching. So I think possibly I don't watch all football all the time, but you can't be oblivious to what Jude Bellingham's doing at Real Madrid at the moment, and he's playing ahead of all of them, be it Toni Kroos or Tchouaméni or or Camavinga or whoever's playing there, right? Modric, Cruz, whatever. He's playing in front of them. Often when Real Madrid are playing, he's the furthest player forward, but he's central. Or he's just behind. He's the next one back, you know? And he's been outstanding. And I think he's arguably the outstanding England player at the moment. Maybe you can make a case for Harry Kane, of course. And he just gets shunted out the way as too many do. And this is, you know what? Maybe it's not just frustration with Gareth Southgate. Maybe it's a frustration of seeing you're used to it over the years. You know, you see Glenn Hoddle playing out of position. You see Paul Scholes playing on the left wing. You see players moved around to accommodate rather than, which I know is maybe going against what we just said is what Clark's done with your two left backs there. But that's not really what we're seeing here. We often see top class players who I just don't get it. I just don't get why you would do it. And then in the end, and to start, there's any number of players who can start ahead of Jordan Henderson, by the way, any number. And it's not, I wouldn't mind if Jordan Henderson had been playing brilliant up until he went to Saudi and actually, okay, look, fine, but he wasn't. Liverpool had a problem in midfield for the last 2 years. Jordan Henderson is a shadow of his former player. He should not be walking into that team, and it seems like he is. And to accommodate him, it feels like everything else has got to be sort of squeezed a little bit, and everyone else got to be moving out of position. And I just think it's a shame when you see players like Phil Foden coming on and playing right, let's call it right midfield, and be generous, and get him central. I understand that he plays all over the place with Pep Guardiola, but Pep Guardiola is not the same as Gareth Southgate. He doesn't give. I don't feel that they can flourish, those players, from within that system. And he's wonderful players. And Maddison's in great form. England have got some cracking players. They really have. But I just feel they're a little bit straitjacketed. And Gareth Southgate will always be able to point and say, "Oh, look, I've picked. Look at my team. How can you say I'm a defensive team? I've picked Jude Bellingham and I've picked James Maddison. I've picked Harry Kane." Well, yes, you have, but those really good coaches that allow those top players to flourish and thrive, and flicks and 1-2s, and everyone seems a little bit like they got. It's just a little playing like they're stuck in cement. Even a wonderful player like Saka, and it's easy to sit here and moan that West Ham players aren't involved. It's not even that, I would have no argument if you were to turn around and say, well, I'm going to play Phil Foden instead of James Ward-Prowse, no problem. You know what I mean? And Abir Eze, if that was his choice, no problem. But Jordan Henderson, come on, So, I mean, it's not just that. And I don't know if you saw the England game, why would you? But from kickoff, Harry Maguire made a mistake and he was apologising to everyone. How can he's not attuned to it? I know he's played very recently for Man U, but by and large, over the last season and a half, he hasn't played. So, it's not. We've got good players, mate, but we're a bit rudderless, actually.
Do you think this is a big game for Southgate? Because if we lose tomorrow, I think Scotland fans will just brush it off a little bit and go, well, it's not ideal. We'd have liked to have won, but bigger fish to fry at the minute. Whereas I just wonder if we beat you, it'll kick off a little bit and it'll almost heap the pressure on Southgate. Say, hang on a minute, your football's not that great. You haven't actually achieved anything, and you've just lost to that lot. And Scotland now are going places, whereas England are on the decline, if you like. Because, I mean, Nations League gets poo-pooed a little bit, but you got relegated and we've been promoted. We're now in the league above you in the Nations League. So, not saying we're better than you. I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying we're heading in the right direction, whereas I think you're heading in the wrong one under Southgate.
No, I think he's safe because he's come through the FA system.
But what about fan pressure then? If we lose, do you think it'll kick off in terms of like...
Yeah, but it dissipates really quickly because Premier League football starts up again and European football, and it all gets forgotten. International football isn't what it used to be in terms of the prominence. Newspapers were a massive driving force for years behind international football, and particularly pressure on England managers. And the big people, of my vintage watching this, who'll remember... the Graham Taylor stuff in the Sun newspaper and the Bobby Robson stuff, and and Terry Venables, who was a wonderful, wonderful, talented manager. I think Venables is the best manager we've had since Alf Ramsey. The statistics will tell you at Southgate, but it was very much newspaper stings and newspapers digging up things in his private life that forced the FA to get rid of Terry Venables. There was a really good point when it was probably the last point when the newspapers really had any real power or really any sway or any influence. But Harry Redknapp should have had the England job, and he would have been that type of manager. Does allow those players to play, all right? And it doesn't matter at the moment. We have a load of talented players. We always did. It just might have been, Lampard. He would have found Redknapp would have found a way for Lampard and Gerrard and Scholes. He would have found a way, right? And so the newspapers used to be able to pile right pressure on, but they just don't carry the power anymore. A lot of fans watch YouTube, websites, social media, and things are quickly forgotten in this day and age. Very, very quickly forgotten. And there's not, with a newspaper, you'd have an editorial who would keep the pressure on. Everything, bang, 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 bang. So there's one person overseeing everything. You don't have that anymore, as you know. So you're on to the next article on the website. It's on to the next video. It's on to the next podcast. There's always something else. So no, I think the pressure will never truly build on Southgate. Basically,
I think his inclusion of Jordan Southgate, if Jordan Henderson, is almost.
Might as well call him Jordan Freudian slip. Then absolutely, I do wonder if he sired him actually.
I think it's almost exposed Southgate a little bit, because Southgate's reasoning for keeping players out of form such as Henderson and Maguire, were character. The word character was attributed to Southgate. Requires good characters in his squad. And I think you have to, when England have done relatively successful without actually achieving anything in these competitions, you almost have to accept it a little bit and say, well, it's kind of working, so I get what he's doing. But including Henderson, who's just moved to Saudi Arabia, I think actually that just proves the character's a load of waffle, because the morals of Henderson's gone out the window as soon as he signed that contract and he's moved to a country for money, and then he's gone and done an interview claiming it's not for money. Even Southgate has to read that and go, well, that's a load of rubbish, isn't it? But then that's got to question that player's character almost. And actually, Southgate is also one of these with Henderson, I'll wear the rainbow stuff and I'll do this and I'll stand up for this cause and that cause. And actually, I think while Henderson's taking a lot of, that just goes to show that campaign means nothing to Jordan Henderson. Actually, I think you could say that similar for Gareth Southgate, which is you're now including a player now, which has gone over there to take the money and stuff like that. And I think when he included Henderson, I thought you made a mistake here, actually, because I think you've now just taken in that player who's gone against everything that he supposedly stood for with these campaigns. And now as a manager who keeps saying character, now you're including a player that's done that. I think, well, actually, that argument's gone as well, in my opinion. And why he still includes him, I don't know. I mean, I do feel the one thing I will say, though, is when I see people say, why Calvin Phillips and why not James Ward-Prowse? And I should be biased and say, yeah, Ward-Prowse over Phillips. They're completely different players. Calvin Phillips is a defensive midfielder. James Ward-Prowse is not that. But certainly Ward-Prowse versus Jordan Henderson is an argument to be had. And not just him as well. There will be other midfielders out there that probably should be in ahead of Henderson, and definitely centre-back in ahead of Maguire as well. I think you've got top players in every position. You really do. The amount of talent at Southgate's disposal is quite embarrassing, really. It's actually ridiculous how good players. I mean, the players not included in the squad are really. You look at England's under 21, you think, bloody hell, that's a formidable team as well. And they've just gone and won it. So there's pressure on Southgate now to build the path for those to get in there as well. And while I say he's been successful, he's done well to reach finals and semi-finals, but he's still not won anything. Since 1966, we've still won the same amount as you, which is nothing. And I think England, it has to be win it or you failed. That has to be the standard. Has to be you win that tournament, otherwise it is deemed a failure. Simple as that. I think it's more acceptable for countries like Scotland, where actually qualifying for the major tournament is good. If you can get to the knockouts, happy days, you're doing really well. But for England, as well as the likes of France, Brazil, Germany, it's either win it or you fail miserably. And as far as I'm concerned, Southgate, while he's improved England, he still has yet to achieve anything.
But the trouble is he's learning on the job with England, and that's it. I know he had a little stint at Middlesbrough and whatnot, didn't he? But he's still learning on the job with England, and you can't claim him to be still learning now. He should have sussed it that by now. I mean, the biggest problem with Southgate is could England do better than Gareth Southgate? And the answer is yes. Now, what I would suggest is that the allure of international football is not the same as it was. That used to be the biggest job. in football that you could get. They could have gone at any point, the England national team, and picked the top manager in the top division. It wasn't called the Premier League then, but in the top division, and they'd have been honoured to represent England. I don't think England could go in there and take Pep Guardiola now, or take whatever Jurgen Klopp or anything. But that's really not the question. Actually, so you start moving down a bit. Actually, ask the question: do you think De Zerbi could do a better job than Gareth Southgate and people like that? Do you think Marco Silva could do a better job than Southgate? And I think, unfortunately, that's where we are at the moment, which is, I think even people that aren't the best managers could probably unlock that group of players better than Gareth Southgate could. And Gareth Southgate should take a lot of credit, by the way, because a lot of this stuff that's happening now was first, and I'm as someone that's got, my boy's season started up this weekend, and I've seen he's with his team now, and he's under 15s now. His team have been together since they were under 7s, right? Some have come and gone, but the nucleus of the team is the same. And I've seen them play on small pitches with small goals, where they were encouraged. There was a certain rule; they had to pass it out from the back, so the opposition couldn't press the goalkeeper until they advanced over the halfway line. Stuff like that was all done by the technical director. Started with Trevor Brooking, and then it was Gareth Southgate. So Gareth Southgate has done a lot for the quality of football and the youngsters, which has overall has improved the quality of young player that goes into Premier League academies and Championship academies. He's done a lot for that over the years. He really does, and there's no doubt about it. And that is why England are doing so well at the younger age groups as well, because we now have young players with a technique that's comparable to those to the European nations that always seem to have players with better technique. But you have to give them their chance. And even you look at, there's no way. I know they play in slightly different positions, but in terms of technique and quality, there is no way that Jordan Henderson should be, never mind in the team. I mean, I'm talking in the squad here, above somebody of the talent of like a Morgan Gibbs-White, for instance, or someone like that. And there are a group of them underneath there who are just prodigiously talented. And you know, even if you were something like Conor Gallagher, you'd probably be looking at it thinking, oh, how's he getting in there? You know what I mean? So yeah, Southgate needs to win. So there's no pressure on Southgate now. He gets one more. I'm surprised he carried on one, but this is it. He wins this, or he goes. Well, in fact, he win or lose. I think he goes at the end of this.
Anyway, are you confident for tomorrow night?
No, not particularly. I don't think England will lose. I just don't think we'll be that. It's not motivated. I just don't think we'll play with any swagger. You lot should be shitting yourselves, quite frankly, at the thought of Jude Bellingham. We should have Declan Rice sat in front of the back four and then everyone else attacking. You should have Bellingham and Kane and Saka and Foden and Maddison and Rashford all going at you. And you know what I mean? We should really have Steve Clarke scrambling around saying, what are we going to do here? Because they've got some attacking talent. A lot of that attacking talent is going to be asked to defend in this game, and some of it won't even be involved. So am I overly confident? Not particularly, because I don't think he'll really go for it.
I'm quite optimistic, actually. I don't fear England. I don't fear you at all, partly because of England, but mainly because of Scotland. I think defensively we're really good at the minute, and we will sit back. We will sort of park the bus, if you like, but we are very good on the counter-attack, and that's how we play under Steve Clarke, and we're really good at what we do now. And like I said, those boys, even though it's a friendly, Clarke himself has said it'll be a competitive friendly if there is such a thing. And I think, our next game after this one, it's not till next month, but it's away to Spain. And then we play France in a friendly. And Clark's talking about how these 3 games are really good for us to test ourselves and see where we're at ahead of the finals next year. And I think we want to go out there and I think we'll want to win. We're at home. We're going to want to win this game, keep the confidence high, keep the swagger going into the next game, like I said, is against Spain. And try and win the group, try and top the group with Spain in our qualifiers and take advantage of that. So I think the fear factor from England's gone, but I think also the fear factor of Scotland being Scotland is gone as well. I think we'll turn up and stand tall. It'll almost be like watching Braveheart or something tomorrow night. So can I get any final words from yourself and your score prediction, please?
No, look, good luck. Listen, good luck to you. We'll watch it. And I just from England's point of view, I would like to see Southgate moving on from some of those. He can't keep clawing back. He needs to try something different. Stop shoehorning Maguire. Henderson's taking a lot of the flack, but Maguire, again, we are not talking about a top class centre half here anymore. He's not playing like that. He's also his position changed. So anytime I've seen him over the years, he played at left centre back. Now he's playing at right centre back, and I saw him playing there for Man United the other day. And he doesn't look comfortable at all. Quite frankly, do something else. I know he's been playing on the right back, but try Ben White in there. I understand Stones is not available, and Stones will probably go back in there. But there are other options that you can try, and I think Southgate needs to be exploring them. And those players, there's too many assured of their place. Bearing in mind how good that crop of young under 21 stars did in the I was only a month or so ago, wasn't it? So I got a feeling it'll be. I got a feeling it's going to be 0-0.
I hope not. I hope there's a bit of entertainment there. I'm really looking forward to this. It's win-win as far as I'm concerned. We win the game, happy days. If we don't, well, hopefully there's been a draw in Norway and we can celebrate qualifying for the Euros. Scotland's in a really good place right now. I'm absolutely loving it. This game can only bring good things. If we lose, I'm not bothered. I'll forget about it by Wednesday morning. I'll be looking forward to the game against Spain. It's a good time. But I'm confident we're going to go out there and give you a game. I'm confident we'll play the same formation. I think Clark will go very strong for this one. He might rotate a few players. Dykes might come in for Che Adams, for example. So he might rotate one or two. And I'm sure there'll be a few Premier League managers hoping Clark gives their players a bit of a rest, like John McGinn, for example. I'm sure Emery will be thinking, please don't play him for the whole game. I'm sure Klopp will be hoping Robertson doesn't play the whole game. But Clark's got to do what's best for Scotland tomorrow night, and that's to try and get the win and keep everybody's spirits high, keep the confidence high, and just enjoy this wave so that when we go into the Euros next year, we're still in really good form, and actually we can aim to get out of the group, whichever we're in, get out of it and go and do something. So I think it'll end a draw as well. I'm going to go for 1-1. But I think we've got a chance, actually. I do.
I actually do. I should say, for all my piss taking, I do hope Scotland qualify, by the way. It'd be very good.
99% chance, according to the supercomputer.
Yeah, no. It's really good. And particularly when you look at it and you talk about those like Georgia and Norway. I mean, a couple of superstar. Yeah. But they both got a superstar, both Georgia and Norway. And if anything, Norway have got two because they got Odegaard as well. So, they've got that superstar player that you don't have. So I think it'd be a real sort of victory for, sort of teamwork and coaching, if you do make it,
Yeah, I think it's important long term because we've got Elliot Anderson. Is a bit of a topic of debate at the minute.
He's a Newcastle midfielder.
Yeah, he's a Newcastle midfielder, and he's played for us throughout the youth team. And then the last few under-21 squads he pulled out of, and it was a case of have we lost him to England now? So we called him up for this squad, and he was with this squad. Then he pulled out through injury. Now Southgate has very publicly said that England are watching him as well, kind of thing. Now Clark obviously wants him, but Southgate's now hinted that he wants him too. But if we can win this game and just keep going with the Euros, hopefully, maybe not Elliot. We might lose Elliot Anderson. I hope not, because he's a terrific young player, and I think he's got more chance with Scotland. I'm not stupid. He's got more chance with Scotland than he does England. That's why Harvey Barnes is considering switching to Scotland, because he will get into our squad. He won't get in the England squad, but you'll get into our first 11 probably. I mean, we don't really play with our Harvey Barnes position, but we'd accommodate him.
Yeah.
But long term, hopefully today's 16-year-olds that have a choice between the two might say, do you know what? I'm going to pledge to Scotland because they're going somewhere now. They're actually doing something, and it become more attractive to the youngsters that's eligible for Scotland. So,
that's where the FA come in. Your Scottish FA, the SFA, because actually you did it with the rugby, and you've done it really well with the rugby, actually, which is Scotland. What 3-4 years ago, maybe got my timing slightly out, but awful. I mean, awful. Wooden spoon and just terrible. And they really got it together. The Scottish Rugby Authority, whose name escapes me, but they really got it together now. And so, if the football equivalent can do what they've done, then that's all you've got to do. Couple of those, a little bit of sprinkling of stardust, then why not? You know what I mean?
We've got a couple of young players. We've got one at Real Madrid. We've got a couple at Man City as well. So there's a lot of young
Scotland got a player at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
What's his name?
We've lost the Darren Fletcher boys, traitor.
Darren Fletcher's got children.
And he's moved them over to England. They were playing for our youth team.
He is Scottish. Fletcher is Scottish.
Yeah, he featured loads for. He just still does punditry on Scotland games, and he just moved his sons over to the.
That's dodgy.
I know. But anyway, if you enjoyed this preview, please do drop a like on it. Subscribe to Hammer's Chat, where we discuss West Ham things. But a bit of a one-off video. Scotland versus England tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. Catch you in a bit.